Let's use a graph to determine horizontal and vertical asymptotes. Let's get started. Consider the graph of f below. So here's the graph of f. Determine the equation of the horizontal asymptote of the graph f. So these dotted lines represent the asymptotes. We have a horizontal asymptote and we have a vertical asymptote. So part A wants us to find the horizontal asymptote. Part B, the vertical asymptote, if they exist. Otherwise, we would check no horizontal asymptote exists or no vertical asymptote exists. And parts C and D wants us to find the domain and range of the graph of f. So let's start with part A, horizontal asymptote. So this is a horizontal line, and that kind of looks like the x-axis, but we are looking at which axis does this horizontal line intersects, and that's the y-axis, and it intersects the y-axis at +4. So the equation of this horizontal asymptote, HA, is y equals 4. So we'll go and record that in part A. Y equals 4 is the equation of the horizontal asymptote. For the vertical asymptote, VA, similarly, it intersects the x-axis at +4. So the equation of the vertical asymptote is x equals +4. Part B, x equals +4. Now, we need to determine the domain and range. Domain involves x values, and range involves y values. So let's look at these x values. So we start out here along the x-axis at -infinity, and we travel along until we get here to our vertical asymptote here at 4. And we close it off because there is no graph that exists for 4 comma anything. That's a vertical asymptote. So we unite that, open parentheses, start at 4, not including 4 in either case, and we can continue on out to +infinity. So that's our domain. From -infinity up to but not including 4, united with starting with 4 and going out to +infinity. Okay, so for these x values, we can go up and find a matching y point on the graph. Okay, just not for x equals 4. So likewise, we're going to start down here at the bottom for the y-axis at -infinity, and we're going to travel until we get up to this y value of 4, but not including 4. There is no matching value on the graph. So we're going to unite that with, continue on with 4, and move up to +infinity. So that is our range. They look identical. -infinity up to 4, not including 4, united with starting with 4, not including 4, and going to +infinity.